Yo, what's good, everybody? I am back. It's been a few days since I did the first Q&A response video, and I've been a little bit under the weather over the weekend. I had two people in my immediate family basically get exposed to Omicron, so pretty sure I had it over the weekend. I'm double vaccinated with Pfizer, so my symptoms were super mild, and I was just really fatigued for about 3 or 4 days. Today I feel a lot better, and it fucking snowed like 10 inches outside today. So yeah, here I am. I'm back. I'm gonna try to finish the remaining questions I have left. I only did a few last time, so if some of the questions I have here, a lot of them are like really straightforward, I think, and some of them are just there are more troll questions in this batch of answers, but this may or may not be the last answer video. So so we're gonna go ahead and get started here. The first question, where did I leave off? I left off on one cert Zoom. So okay, the first question today is from Cherry Sherry. It looks like we have a question and then an essay. So first things first, if you were going to try to teach people to develop skill in PS2 or other games, where do groups that attempt to do this fail? And what would you do differently? Thinking back on my time playing the game, I don't think a lot of people try to, like, if you're talking like outfit leaders and stuff like that, I don't necessarily think people actively try to teach people how to get better in this game. I think they try to teach them situational things to do. Like there's if you've ever watched like some of these weird like milsim outfit trainings and shit, like they're very basic. Like they teach people to like crouch and shoot and like breach doorways and shit. Just this is more of this stupid shit that people pretend the game is something completely different than it actually is. And then like I don't know if you've ever seen this in game, but I've fought against people that play like this, and I'll just be like inside a building, and I watch these people try to like breach and clear a door, like they're playing some weird like role play SWAT milsim game, and you just kill all of them, and they have no idea what to do because their focus their focus on how to play the game is on like the the wrong things. Like they're worried about like role play shit, which I for the life of me, I don't understand why people think that that PlanetSide 2 is some like larpy fucking milsim roleplay game. It has nothing to do with it, and it's not based on that at all. There's almost no mechanics slash and like it has some like there's no prone mechanic. There's no like it's just so strange to me. Like I guess the thing that people see that makes them think this is kind of the way things are is anytime these people see like the word platoon or squad or fire team or anything like that, this automatically attracts like this small cluster of these milsim fucking retards, right? And then they come to a game that what is essentially Battlefield, and you see this in Battlefield too. There's a lot of people that play Battlefield that play that game like it's some hyper realistic military simulation game, and it's cringe as fuck. The same way it's cringe as fucking PlanetSide. So I see a lot of people uh, try to teach people to play the game in these like completely antithetical ways. Like or like it's this super basic shit that anyone that has ever played an FPS game can teach you how to do. Like you see all this shit like, well, you got to pie the corner. It's always the same shit like I think the groups that attempt to teach people to develop a skill in PS2, they fail at this because they have no idea what they're talking about. they have no authority in this case. They're missing the part. It's one thing to, you have to have people that are skilled teach the people to play in a certain way. Because when you have a bunch of people who are shit or not good pretending to teach people how to be good, there's a real disconnect there. And I think that's part of this game's problem, is you have this never-ending cycle of players who are not very good or extremely fucking pathetically bad teaching newer players and people that are new to the game the supposed correct way to play the game, which is how they play, which is completely terrible. They have no, like, the very basic things playing a shooter game, which is why you guys have heard me say, if you watch any of my content over the last 3-4 years, I am constantly harping on the thing that this game doesn't attract FPS players. Now, you might be a casual and come to this game and say, well, I'm an FPS player, but if I go and look at your shit and you are complete dog shit, I mean, you might be an FPS player, but you're not very good. And I think some people define themselves as an FPS player just because they play the games. It has nothing to do with whether you're good or not. And to me, that doesn't make you an FPS player, okay? My grandma is an FPS player, okay? You know, I can make a fucking chimp be an FPS player. That's what I'm getting at. It's just because you have played games in the genre doesn't mean dick. Especially nowadays when the mainstream group of people, you know, is now thinking that they have, it's cool, you know, like the whole thing that it's cool to be a streamer now, or it's cool to be playing video games, when back in the day, like, it was a nerd thing. It was always a nerd thing. But nowadays, it's very fucking mainstream. But the problem with that is you have all these mainstream dog shit casual players who don't know anything about the games. They suck mechanically at the games. They never want to get better. They just want the instant attention, and they want to become big at something without putting in any of the fucking work. And you have these people. FPS happens to be one of the most popular genres. So you get a bunch of these fucking people who are not FPS players that come into your game, and they try to teach people how to play the game. Like, you don't even know what the fuck to do. Like, I have a real problem with people who are terrible and don't even know how to fucking point their gun and shoot at people, trying to teach people how to play the game, or making objective moral value statements about people that do. Like, it's so strange to me, and it's always been this way in this game. It really is fucking strange to me. And you bring it up in your question here. You said you think that this displays itself in gaming culture, with seemingly fewer and fewer players interested in skilled play and skill-based mechanics, with seemingly fewer people teaching new gamers skilled play, and developers catering to a more casual player base in general. So that's part of the issue. Is I am not only fighting against the bad player who's teaching all the players, I also have to fight against the developer. And you guys wonder why we are so apathetic. You know, how would I balance FPS games, for instance, PS2's barrier of entry with a high skill ceiling to entertain both groups? When you try to entertain everyone and appease everyone, you make no one happy. So there's a way. PS2 kind of strikes, or PlanetSide 2 kind of strikes a good balance, because if you're a good player and interested in the FPS mechanics of the game, there's something for you there. If you're a dog shit player, or just a super casual player, there's something for you there. Now, you know, you can say, great, let's leave it at that. But the problem is, you only cater to the dog shit casual. That is all you care about. So it's year after year after year of, hey, Lex, this patch isn't for you, man. And I have to hear that fucking year after year after year after year and patch after patch after patch. And it's just like, man, there's some like quality of life stuff. And there's some things that we've been complaining about for a really long time. And I know it conflicts with, you know, catering towards shitters and casuals, but at some point, like, you gotta throw us a bone. Because if you don't, then we're all gonna leave. And hey, maybe that's the point. Maybe Rel and all those people, they don't care about skilled players in the game. Like, I think they feel like they have to endure our personalities until we just leave, because they push the game in a way that makes most of us fucking annoyed as fuck and angry, right? So I think in his mind, all he has to do is endure, because number one, he doesn't listen to any of us. He doesn't care. He doesn't listen to us, and we kill the people that he caters the game to and make them unhappy. So we're kind of in a no-win situation. The developer doesn't want us to play the game, and the groups that we fight against all the time and farm and kill, they don't want us to play the game either. So what do we do? So more on your question, I argue with Zergfit leads on a fairly regular basis over how they should try to teach their members basic FPS skills, how certain game design decisions are trash, and how overpopping with 80% is not good for the game or their players. I have been impressed with the acidic responses. If community leaders won't hold developers accountable for bad decisions and won't show their players that PS2 is not about overpop and watching paint dry, how do you reach the average player with your message? It's really fucking hard. And it has always been really fucking hard. It's why I struggle sometimes, and I'm so apathetic towards doing content for the game, because what you are up against is you just can't overcome it, because you just get drowned out by this mountain of shit. So it's really hard, and for the people that do it and just give up or don't even bother doing it in the first place, I get it. Like, it sucks. But this whole question here, what I do differently is you actually have to have someone who understands what the fuck is going on, and someone who is actually skilled be in charge of your training. Okay? That's what needs to change. But unfortunately, most of these outfits don't have any actual good players in them. You know, most of these outfits that just hoover up and suck up all these new players, they really don't have any good players in them. So who the fuck is going to teach people how to be good when you have shitters? It's exactly how people that are actually good at the game can take like 6 months to a year break and just come back and kill people like no tomorrow, because nothing has changed. Because the floor of the player base with skill never goes anywhere. It's just this constant, continuing cycle of shitters teaching shitters and passing down, you know, shitter genealogy. You know, they never get any better. The tools change. Rel puts a bunch of fucking stupid shit in the game every year that these mouth breathers pull on you and use instead of whatever stupid mouth breather weapon that they had last year. Like, the tools change, but the thought process and the mindset of these players and the skill of them really never changes. They are only as good as the cheese that they can bring to the table, basically, since the beginning of time with this game. So yeah. Next question is from Ozzy, who is cheating. This is his third question, by the way. Is there any FPS game that you are actually looking forward to? No. I don't look forward to... I don't look out on the horizon and look at games that are coming and get hyped about them. For obvious reasons. And you guys need to stop getting hyped for games, especially FPS games, and you need to stop fucking pre-ordering. Stop pre-ordering games. Stop pre-ordering games. And stop getting hype for these fucking shitty games that you get hype for no fucking reason, because some marketing manager puts together some shitty cinematic so you can go, oh, no, I'm so hyped. you're fucking retarded. And you are part of the reason why all these games fucking suck. Because these developers get your little fucking pre-order money because you're so fucking hyped because you just can't help yourself, you consumer little fucking worm. And then they just make a piece of shit. But they already have your money. And good luck trying to refund. Because you have to have a fucking lawyer at this point to fucking get a refund on some of this shit. So no, I don't look forward to any FPS games. And I don't fucking pre-order games. And you all need to stop doing that too, okay? Because you're killing the fucking industry. The next question is from Mr. Entrance. Where is the Medkit analyzing video you promised? So yeah, I teased a Medkit video, and in that video, I think it's still up on the channel, I asked for clips of people dying to people in fucking gunfights with people who are medkitting. And would you just look at it? I didn't get a single fucking video clip of someone who complains about medkits shooting at someone. Wow, who's medkitting. You know why? And it was in the comments. I didn't get any video clips because the people that whine about medkits in the game are always completely shit players. And they die to the guy medkitting because they're fucking horrible. And if they submitted video clips of that happening in the game, then it would be quite obvious why they actually died to the person. And you would instantly see that it's not the medkit that has anything to do with it. You have to get outplayed a minimum of, 3 or 4 times? If someone that you are fighting against in a 1v1 is medkitting at any point in the fight, you have to get outplayed in some way 3 to 4 times to lose that fight. Okay? That's basically the whole fucking thesis of the video, right? And I'll go to painstaking measures to demonstrate this, and there's a bunch of shit, but the reason I really never jumped into that video right away is because the threads and posts mainly stopped about it, and then I feel like I kind of made my point. Because I had people who are fucking stupid and don't understand what I was asking for. Obviously, because I always get that because PlanetSide players are really fucking dumb. But what I'm really looking for, of course, you get none of. Or the people that try to submit video are like trolls on my Twitter DM. Because I had some on my Twitter DM, but other than that. Yeah, and you can do the exact same thing on Reddit, too. So when some retard is whining about medkit anything in the game, ask that person to submit a video clip of them dying to someone medkitting. And you know what? They will never fucking do it. You can ask the next 10 people that you see whine about medkits to give you a video of them dying to someone medkitting, and you will not get a single fucking video clip. You just won't. Because number one, those people don't record any of their gameplay anyway, because they're shitters, and who would want to watch their gameplay anyway? And number two, in those video clips, within the first 5 seconds, you'd be able to tell why they died. You know, they have shit aim, they have shit positioning, they fucking don't understand how the weapons work, they hold mouse 1. They get out fucking played. And when you ask someone to give you video of them outplaying themselves or getting outplayed, it completely crushes their fucking theory that the medkit is somehow the reason that they died. And then they just have to shut the fuck up, and you never hear from them again. That's been my experience with it. So, I mean, will there be a medkit video at some point? Maybe, I don't know. It's always kind of one I have in the back of my mind, and I have ideas for that video specifically. It'd be basically based off of this one Reddit post I made against Iridar a long time ago. But it's on the back burner. It might come, it might not, but I might have to rethink how I would frame the video, because I was originally going to frame the video around video that was submitted by people. And I guess to their credit, they're smart enough not to submit video of what I asked for, because I would have just torn down their shit the entire video. So, good job on you, I guess. Alright, anyway, Next question is from Solus. Streamer man, why aren't you streaming? Why am I not streaming? Well, number one, I haven't regularly streamed. The last time I regularly streamed PlanetSide, I probably streamed PlanetSide. It was my main game that I streamed from like 2014, 2015. I was in Asia for 2016, so a lot of my streaming stopped. 2017, I streamed the game a lot. 2018 less. And it just got to the point where the community in that game, especially on Twitch, like I have the majority, it really feels like the majority of, it's a problem of where the community destroyed that for you guys. So you guys that actually do like watching me stream and play that game, you're part of the problem, because the community in that game destroyed my will to stream that game, because you have to deal with these people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They come into your stream and instantly try to start shit with you all the time. Like, it's just weird, like the weird getting stream sniped every fucking day by the same two people, like, or 3 or 4 people, and the hate watchers and all this shit, man. Like, the fucking Smurf accounts or the fucking alt accounts on Twitch from when you ban a guy. It's like you would spend half your stream moderating these fucking degenerate losers in your chat, and that's just not fun for me. And on top of that, you're also playing a game that for the most part isn't very fun, and then you're dealing with a subhuman, degenerate fucking community of absolute scumbag, pussy-ass players who in a million years would never put themselves out there or their gameplay out there. They just hide and fucking attack other people and shit. Like, they're just pussies, right? It's just, it got too fucking, it's too much, man. Like, and to deal with that every fucking day, like, I know there's a lot of people that like watching me stream the game, but it's just an incredibly frustrating game to stream. Like, as I said, like, the community is absolutely fucking shit. Like, it is the worst community probably I've ever experienced in a video game. Besides that, the game is shit. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation. Like, would my Twitch channel be a lot better? Well, to go with that, if you've been ever followed my channel in the past, and you probably came back and noticed that you weren't following anymore, that's for a reason. I purged I purged my entire fucking Twitch channel. So Commander Root, that tool or whatever, that person has tools and shit that you can just purge your entire fucking Twitch account of people that follow you, all this other shit. So I've done that. I had done that before because I got to a point where I was so fucking tired of the community in the game that basically I said, I'm never streaming this game again, and you guys can all go fuck yourselves, because that's really where I was with the game for a long time. It was like, fuck you. You guys don't deserve to watch good players play the game. You guys don't deserve any content. Like, you guys are just pigs and shit. So enjoy your shit. You don't deserve shit or anything, right? So I went through that phase and just wiped my channel clean. Like, it literally down to 0 followers, nothing. Like, I kept affiliate and everything. And it's funny because I could go, you know, there were points where I could go read the fucking subreddit and have 80 fucking viewers. And if anybody knows anything about the Twitch PlanetSide directory, like, having 80 viewers is, like, crazy. Like, it's hard. That game has, like, and looking at the Twitch directory now, man, like, holy fuck. Like, that is the most depressing shit. You just have all these trash fucking VTube people and these anime fucking losers, like, that everybody sucks. Like, granted, there's some people that are good that stream, but they don't stream that often, because the chances are, if you're good at this game, you have a real love-hate relationship with it, and streaming the game is just not, it's not healthy, and I wouldn't recommend that anyone do it. As someone who, it's my most streamed game ever, and I would instantly revive my fucking Twitch channel if I went back and streamed that game again every day, or a decent amount, but I won't do it. Like, I see. I'm happy with streaming, whatever the fuck I want to stream, and having the core, like, 5 to 10 people. Like, I think we were talking about this with Shocker the other day. Like, once you get above, especially in PlanetSide, man, like, once you get above like 20 to 30 viewers, like, the quality of the interaction with the people in the chat just goes to absolute shit. Because I think of it like if you're at a fight in PlanetSide, right? You're at a 1 to 12, and then you're kind of like, okay, cool. Or maybe you're at a 12 to 24, and the fight's kind of balanced, and it's going good, and it's kind of a challenge, and you're enjoying yourself, right? And then the alert ends on the other continent, and the rest of the community descends on the fight. And then what happens to the quality of the fight? It's the exact same thing in the Twitch chat. So the more PlanetSide 2 players you have in a Twitch chat, the more degenerate that the more that in being involved in that just is not enjoyable. So yeah, so I stream every now and then. I actually did a couple PlanetSide streams on YouTube a couple months ago and stuff, but the state of the game is just like, I really don't have fun playing the game. And I haven't had fun. The last time I actually had fun playing the game was during Escalation, because I had made a brand new like alt character, and I went for a Beetlejuice Arax, and I had fun doing that. And that is the last time I had fun playing the game. Ever since then, it's just not enjoyable. There's too many more stupid fucking things put in the game. As if the game was more fun, then maybe I could find it in myself to start streaming it again. But then you also have the thing with the community being shit. So I don't know. Like I said, I feel bad for the people that. This is another thing too. Like, there's people that I see, as soon as I start talking about PlanetSide, or like people catch wind that I'm talking about PlanetSide, like, they will not watch me play anything else. And then as soon as I start talking about the game, or God forbid I'm like actually on the game, then you have all these people that return. It's so weird. Like, I don't know, man. But as for future plans with streaming the game, I have zero plans to stream that game. Like, until something drastic changes, I have zero plans. There are plans, preliminary plans, to do a discussion pod with Leroy and Batty from DA in the near future. I don't have any specific dates or anything like that, but we actually did one, I think it was last Thursday or something. It was just like a out of the blue like thing where me, Leroy, and Batty were talking about the game for like 5 hours, and we had Shocker and Cammy came in and all this other stuff. It's actually on Batty's channel, so you can go look for that. I'll put a link in the description too. Yeah, it's gonna be more stuff like that. I don't think it's gonna be like 5 hours, but like personally, I would much rather do like the discussions and the conversation type thing than play the game, because the game is just a piece of shit. And you guys got to remember too, I've been playing since launch. So I've been playing the game for 9 fucking years, and at some point, like, I've taken breaks over time, but it's a long time to play one specific game, and it's really a long time to still be dealing with the same problems that we've had. And there's just other stuff, like, granted, most other FPS games are shit, but a lot of the times now I'd rather play another FPS game than PlanetSide, because it's just, to me, it's just stale, boring. The way that people play the game is so fucking cancerous. Like, it's just, yeah, but that's it for that question. That's a really, really long-winded answer as to why I'm not streaming the game. The next question is from John D.A. I'm going to just call you John Dawsonfall. How about that? And his question is, blah, blah, blah. Looking forward to the QA. A couple of questions I do have are largely technical ones. How important do you think good, rather than just basic and affordable hardware and things like mice, keyboards, high refresh rate monitors are for FPS gaming? And related, is there a diminishing return after which a person is just wasting money? And no matter how good they are as a player, better kit won't help. I think a lot of the good stuff that you can get now, hardware-wise, is pretty basic and affordable. Keyboards, basically, I would not worry about keyboards at all. Keyboards almost have nothing to do with... I would say, don't really worry about the fucking keyboard unless you have some shit that's like 70 years old and that actively hinders you from playing the game. Mice, we're kind of at a point, it's interesting because we're at a point with mice now, especially gaming mice, where we've kind of solved a lot of things, and the good shapes and the sensors are basically all good. Like, you really kind of have to go out of your way to get a piece of shit gaming mouse these days. Like, there's so many good ones now. And the information, there's so many independent reviewers out there that are actually like FPS players and shit who are pretty good, who do reviews on these mice and mouse pads and all this stuff. So I'm someone who I have a drawer. I was thinking about doing a mouse video because I was going to do a mouse video on basically every mouse that I've played with since 2017, the end of 2017. It's like 15, 16. I have like 15 or 16 mice like right here in this fucking drawer. And basically they're all good. So you have a lot of options. What you really need to do, and it took me a long time to do this, is really get down to what you like shape-wise, what you like coding-wise. Like this past year, you know, I kind of had to accept the fact that I really fucking hate playing with glossy mice. I don't know why. I think I only have 2 glossy mice. They're both Zowie mice. But for whatever reason, that coding, I just don't like it. But I bought them, and they're good mice. It's just I should have got the matte black coating instead. And I can't really buy small mice. I have pretty big fucking hands. I'm a pretty big dude. You know, I'm like 6'2", 6'3", and I have like what are my fucking hands, like 20 inches or some shit? Not 20 inches, 20 centimeters. I don't remember the exact measurement, but there are some mice that I would play around with and buy, and my hands are just too big. And there's a lot of these mice. I don't know what it is about fucking mouse makers and shit, man, but whoever is designing, a lot of you motherfuckers have manlet hands. And like I was, I tried the Zeiss Rail fucking mouse, and that guy must be a fucking hobbit, because my hands engulf that fucking mouse. There's no way I can hold that mouse comfortably. Like, I get cramps in my hand. I think Leroy's the same way. But we're both like big humans, right? We have actual like hands, not like these little tiny frail fucking manlet hands that apparently every like 5'6" Euro has or something. It's very strange to me. Anyway, as for it's a really good time to be like an FPS. Well, hardware wise, mouse wise, it's a really good era to be in terms of options and availability for hardware with mice and stuff. High refresh rate monitors. At the bare minimum, you should get off 60 hertz. Bare minimum, you should have a 144 hertz monitor at this point. If you're serious about playing FPS games, you're going to probably see the biggest return on investment from going from 60 hertz to 144. Yeah, it's a big difference. I remember going from 60 hertz to fucking 144, and it is a game changer. And if you have any kind of semi-decent CPU or hardware, like, you're going to be able to get 144 FPS in game. A little bit beyond that, like 144 to 240 hertz. I've had a 240 hertz monitor for 3 years now. Uh, I can't go back to play on 144 hertz. Like it for me, it's that I can notice it. Um, yeah, but if you're on 144, that's fine. The jump from 144 to 240 is not as pronounced, in my opinion, as 60 to 144. But yeah, if you want to get a high refresh rate monitor, like I can't make any recommendations, but there are a lot of monitors. You can just go look up fucking like probably go watch like I think Hardware Unboxed does a lot of fucking good monitor reviews, and they'll tell you what's basically the best out there based on price, performance, all that stuff like that. Uh, yeah, like, and they're not all that expensive. Just to get like a generic like 1 millisecond response time, 144 hertz monitor, it's 1080p. Like, they're not all that expensive. And there's a thing too, like if affording hardware, even like very generic, like what I just described, is too much for you, then you got to focus on your life first, and you got to get your life in order so you can have money to afford like shit in your hobbies. Yeah, get your life in order first. But I mean, to go back to your question, a lot of the good stuff is affordable. Like there's excess shit. Like I bought this past year, I bought a fucking 1440p 240 hertz monitor that was like, I don't know, like $600. Did I need that? No, not really. But I've been playing on 240 hertz for a while, and I kind of had the hardware now to push 240 hertz in that resolution. And yeah, I just buy stupid shit sometimes like that. I have a bunch of monitors. And it's funny because like I've gone to like this super minimalist setup now where I don't even have a second monitor anymore. Like I'm not using a second monitor. I just have one basic ass fucking, and I'm not even using the 1440p monitor. Like I have a BenQ fucking 1920 by 1080 240 hertz monitor right now, and that's it. Like super minimalist. I'm going through a phase. I don't know what the fuck it is. As for the rest of your question, is there diminishing return after which you're just wasting money? No matter how good they are as a player, a better kit won't help. In my opinion, the diminishing return is going to be like when you try to go from 144 hertz to 240 hertz, like you can give like a kind of not very good / average FPS player like the best stuff. But at the end of the day, yeah, having better equipment is going to help you. You're gonna be able to respond to stuff quicker and just have a cleaner experience. And frame rate is super important. But at the end of the day, you can't expect just having that stuff to make up for the actual like physical work that you have to do in learning and training and having your mindset and all that stuff. Like you still have to do the work yourself, guys. There's no shortcuts. Now, having the good hardware is part of all that, but it's not exactly the shortcut that you're looking for. So yeah. The next question is from Shin Karts. Says, you're obviously known for PS2 and Battlefield and other FPS in general. Am I? Am I known? Some people know me, but most people don't. But are there any other genres which I am a regular consumer of? I recall you talking about WoW several times. Is there anything else you like to play? Probably WoW is the biggest one, especially since Classic had come back out. I played in like some really semi / hardcore speedrun fucking guilds towards the end of Classic. Super min-maxy, sweaty, nerd, absolute fucking pushing the edge type stuff there. I've always been into that. I kind of answered this question as in the other genres that I play last time. So I don't really play other MMOs besides World of Warcraft, and I'm very particular on. I don't play retail. I have not played retail WoW since probably like 2010. Like actually, it has to be classic WoW. And I really don't even like TBC that much. I'm not really a huge Wrath of the Lich King fan. I did play it back in the day, but yeah, it's classic for me all the way. And then other than that, I don't really play any other MMOs, and I don't put the time sink into other ones to learn other ones, really. But honestly, other than that, like, I have enough games to play where in the last few years I'm either playing PlanetSide, I'm either playing Siege, whatever Battlefield is out, and then shit. I mean, to be honest, I don't really have all that much time to be like just having this big palette of games that I'm playing. So when I have time, I kind of have to be pretty focused in what I'm doing. And I can't just go all over the place, you know? If I'm playing WoW and I'm playing WoW seriously, I'm probably not playing any FPS games, right? If I'm playing FPS games and I'm focusing on one in particular, probably not playing WoW. It's kind of in either an or thing, because when I'm playing a game and I'm getting into it, all my focus and energy is going towards learning what I have to learn in that game, practicing what I have to practice in that game, and trying to improve as I'm playing it. So it's a very relentlessly focused type thing where I just don't have the mental capacity to also be doing other shit the way I want to in other games. So yeah. Kuda is the next question. Kuda says, why are we here, just to suffer? Yes. Next question. Krautergartner, when are the PS2 servers shutting down? Hopefully soon. Well, it already seems like Emerald is in the throes of shutting down because the server runs like absolute dog shit. And the server has run like absolute dog shit for several years, and it's not a new thing, and you guys want to be like, oh, the server is just running bad recently. Well, it's been running like shit for a long time, so you're wrong. But when are the servers actually shutting down? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they never shut down, to be honest. Like, this is just one of those games where it's always going to have some kind of, even if the population's really low, it's always going to have some kind of population because it appeals to, I don't know, some very niche crowd. So all the prognostication about, you know, the servers are shutting down and blah, 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 like, if you want to talk about anything, like with server shutdowns and stuff, I guess you could get into, like, you know, realistically, when are we going to have the two, like Miller and Cobalt? When would they merge? When would Connery and Emerald merge? Because I think we might, after this update, I think those discussions might need to start happening, actually. Because after Osher comes out and you have your population spike and return, and then all that goes away again, you know, we might be looking at, depending what's on the horizon, you might be looking at a dip even further. And then from what I've seen, Connery is almost dead or unplayable most of the time anyway. And most of the people that I know that are from Connery don't even play on Connery anyway. Between, like, how the people play on the server, like, just, you know, for those of you guys that remember World Domination Series, WDS in PlanetSide 2, when WDS went away on every other server, everybody on Connery still kept playing the game like it was WDS time. Because those people are the most degenerate morons, I guess, in the history of the game. But I digress. Yeah, so when are the servers shutting down? I don't know. But at some point, I think within the next year-ish, let's see what happens after the Osher update and the population waves recede, and we'll see where we can start talking about, like, actual legitimate server merges, because I think it might get to that point. Anyway, next question is from Euro Scumbag. Why does PlanetSide's community, both veteran and less experienced, get so butthurt if you call out their playstyle in this game more than others? To elaborate, pop surfers that have thousands of hours, as well as shitters who sit in a max all day for 6 years. I think, and this comes, and I've experienced this a lot because, I am one of the first people to go out of my way to call out someone that is playing like a shitbag, for better or worse. Um, and the people that play this game, I guess they like specifically like quote unquote good players who sit in Zergs all fucking day long. That you will never see like if I look at it this way, if I'm on and playing the game regularly, and I'm going to all the fights that I go to, which are basically, your occasional attack and defensive underpops, if I never ever see you next to me or around me, or I never notice you in the game, the players that are around me and going to those fights, those are the guys I know that are, they're actually like trying to improve at the game. Yet there's so many people that still play this game like 8 fucking hours a day that are just mindless zombies that just, it doesn't matter. Like there's no ethical consideration of how they play. They just play like shitbags. And this community, for whatever reason, and I think it's developer endorsed, just promotes this kind of behavior. Because there's no penalty for being a shitbag in this game. There's no penalty for being an absolute piece of shit. There's no penalty for being in a force multiplier 24/7. There's no penalty for being a good player hiding in overpop, Zerg surfing and vulturing people. Like, there's absolutely no penalty. And besides there being an actual tangible penalty in the game, there are no social repercussions from being that way. From the greater community as a whole, because they're all the same shitbag players. So you have this giant community of shitbag players with no morals, no ethics, no nothing, and they play however, and that's cool. And then you have like a small group of players who are like, hey, you're actually a good player. Why do you play like such a fucking loser? And then these people just throw a temper tantrum. There was a guy, I won't name names, but I've known this guy for a really long time. And it was a point where I came back and I was playing. And I was playing one night, and this guy, if I'm playing against you at every fight for multiple days in a row, you're probably a fucking shitbag. Because you're specifically going to all these fights surfing pop. So I questioned this guy. I think it was like the second or third day in a row. I sent this guy a tell, like, is there some reason that you play like this? Because I know you're a better player than that. And this fucking guy, like, had a mental breakdown. And I actually streamed this, and some of you may remember this, but this guy had a mental fucking breakdown in tells, to the point where I had an entire folder on my desktop of this guy sending me these fucking tells. It was like the weirdest shit I have ever read in the game. But just the fact that I questioned the way this guy was playing, I don't know, it did something inside of his brain that just set him off. That happens a lot with people in this game. Like, you can question how I play the game. Like, if someone sends me a tell, which, by the way, no one has ever sent me a tell like, oh, you're a shitbag playing in this. Like, they've sent me, like, accusation tells and stuff, but what the fuck are you gonna say to the guy that's always an underpop? Like, there's not really anything you can say to that person, because I specifically log in and into the game and put myself in a disadvantageous situation all the time. The fuck are you gonna say to me? Or like the other people that play like that way. Like, what's your fucking comeback on that? Like, especially when you're one of these shitbags that is just lives in fucking overpop. You're one of these fucking shit-ass players that lives in like 70% versus 30%. Like, you're just bad for the game, dude. Like, I talked about this on the podcast with Deeg when he had the interview with me. It's like, if you're actually like a good player, like, you kind of have a moral responsibility to not make the game shittier for everyone else. Like, you kind of have a responsibility to not be like vulturing people and like picking for scraps. And it's like, it's always the same guys. Like, you can always tell who it is. It's always the same fucking guys. And I have friends who come back to the game. They're like, yeah, I'm playing the game again, but I constantly see the same fucking losers in Pop all the time. And it's always these shit fucking 2KD heavy dog shit ass players who have not improved or gotten better at the game in years. Like, these are the same people you shit on 3 years ago that are still playing the exact same way, and they wonder why they don't get better at the game. Like, it's because of the way you play. You play like a fucking loser, so you never get better at the game. And then, like, as soon as you challenge them on how they play the game or say something to them, like, they just fucking lose their minds, man. It's so strange. And I mean, I've seen stuff like this in other games, but PlanetSide breeds, like, these special fucking snowflakes. It's just, I don't know what else, I don't really know what else to say about it, but people just don't want to be challenged in this game. And to the game's credit, either good or bad, you know, you can play the game in a lot of different ways. But objectively, there are just some ways that are way more shitty, low-skill effort than others. And the people that it's just easier for them to do. Like I've said in the past that, you know, I get why. Because playing the way that I play and some of my friends play actively make the game more frustrating to play, because you're stacking yourself up against all this bullshit, and it does make the game less enjoyable to play. But at the same time, when you overcome that, if you overcome that, then the reward is just so much more, it's so much better. Like, I can't imagine sitting and playing the game like these fucking reject losers do, just playing hours and hours and hours a day, just sitting in this fucking overpop, like scrounging, trying desperately to squeeze kills away from whatever Zerg fit they're surfing. Like, is this really enjoyable for you, man? Like, it seems so fucking boring. I just don't get it. The next question is from Igor PS2. It says, what's your opinion on the .75 ADS mechanic? Should it stay as is, have it for all weapons, or have it for no weapons? I really don't care at this point. It doesn't... .75 was never why the Orion and the Beetlejuice killed shitters, or the SVA-88. I mean, I asked the question ever since every year since that has been taken away from the Orion. I'm still asking shitters, hey guys, are you still getting farmed by the Orion? And, it really doesn't fucking matter, especially in PlanetSide 2, because the average player is so fucking bad that, like, you can farm fucking shitters in this game with an Ursa, for Christ's sakes. Like, .75 was never why you guys got farmed. You're just lazy. Like, anything that has anything to do with movement, like boomer shitters and poor FPS mechanic players don't want to fucking, like, they don't want to move their mouse right and left barely at all for some guy who's barely moving in a patch of dirt. And they think that these people actually think that this game has, like... Now, granted, there are some things in the game that are really fucked movement. Like, ambusher jump jets is some of the most fucked movement that you'll see in a video game. But other than that, like, the ADS strafe speed in this game and the general movement mechanics in this game, unless you've never played another FPS game, if you think, like, the stuff in this game is egregious or crazy, you're probably just fucking really bad. And that's the honest-to-God fucking truth, is most of you guys are fucking terrible dog shit. Like, .75 ADS on the Orion, the SVA, and the fucking Beetlejuice was never why you got farmed in the first place. It never was. And then it was taken away, and it was nerfed. And then it's like, well, you guys are still getting fucking absolutely dumpstered by the Orion, the SVA, and the fucking Beetlejuice. And you still whine about those guns to this day. So at what point do you get to the point where you're like, what do I have to do to this gun for shitters to stop complaining about it? Does it have to be fucking completely useless? Like, when I equip the gun, does it have to pour a cement block of shit on my feet so I can't move at all? Does it have to drop out every other bullet that I do for damage in order to appease these fucking shit-ass players? Like, the real thing is, man, no matter what you do, like, look at Heavy Assault. Heavy Assault as a class has been nerfed, like, what, 13 fucking times? And they will never, ever, ever stop complaining about it because good players play Heavy Assault and they still fucking farm shit players. It doesn't matter. You guys are always going to get fucking farmed. You just have to take... This is the problem with casual shit players who just get mad at certain mechanics, and every single fucking mechanic that is interesting or different about the game or whatever, it has to be removed from the game. Because they think if they get on a level mechanical playing field with good players that it's going to make them better or they're going to win. Newsflash, you're still going to fucking lose because you're still bad and those players are still better than you and they're going to always shit on you regardless. You can have the most socialist piece of shit game where the outcomes are all equal, the guns are fucking equal and everything, and you'll still get fucking farmed. So, in the meantime, please fuck off with destroying these games like with emergent gameplay and unique mechanics because you think that that's what, like, it's fucking annoying. So to answer your question, like, I don't care about the .75 ADS mechanic. I really don't care, because I'll kill you without it, I'll kill you with it, it doesn't fucking matter to me. Should it have for... No, I mean, fuck, I don't care. Like, if you want to have it in the game, have it in the game. You know, if you want to take it off certain guns and have it on other guns, I don't care. It really doesn't matter for me, but you guys make so much of a big deal over this mechanic. Like, just fucking stop crying about .75. Because obviously .75 was not why you got fucking farmed. Okay? Give it up. Character names question is, what do you think is the most unenjoyable aspect of the game currently? For me, the most unenjoyable aspect of the game currently is the way every fucking outfit plays the game. Every fucking time I play the game, there's just some shit-ass loser outfit of these god-awful players who just crutches on every single fucking... They just stack 50 guys in a fucking room. They have all their stupid-ass baby gates with a fucking router and 2 fucking engineer turrets. And the instant that you ever kill any of them, they always have 1 or 2 or 3 fucking guys that are permanently in a max suit. They have fucking 15 medics. Like... The way the game is the meta is now for these shit players, the way they play, it's just so unenjoyable to play against. It's just so fucking unenjoyable. Like, they're not interested at all, and like they don't even want to fight you. Like, they just want to sit. Go and watch these stupid motherfuckers. They're like, if you put these people on Jaeger or an empty server, they would play the game no differently than they play it on live. Because they all jam all their fucking retarded members into a building, they sit there with their thumb up their ass and fucking stare at 3 doorways, and then they all pat themselves on the back when they cap the fucking base, and then they just move on to the next one. And you know, God forbid, like, they ever get a 50-50 fight, they get fucking crushed. And then they're like in the chat, like, good game, like these people are so pathetic. Like, I hate... It's so bad, and it's so metafight, and it's every one of these little shitter mid-fits and fucking, like, the Zerg fits, they all play exactly the same. And it's so boring, and it's so cringe, and as soon as you fucking farm them, they instantly... They have 2 things in their playbook, man. They fucking dump more pop on the fight, or they fucking just pull a bunch of fucking maxes, and it's so boring. It's so fucking boring and lame. It's like they don't care. They're never going to get better at the game. They're just going to sit here and do their shitty point hold meta shit. That, by the way, no one is impressed. If you're impressed by a bunch of retards sitting in a building doing a point hold, you have room temperature IQ, okay? There's nothing impressive about it. It's really... It's so cringe. Like, and they're going to play like this for infinity, till the end of fucking time. Until the universe fucking dies, man, and all the protons decay and burn out. That's how they're gonna play the game. Like, and it's just so fucking... And they're just gonna add, like, these little shitter tools that roll ads for them in the game, and it's just... It's so boring, and it is by far the most unenjoyable aspect of the game. For me. The next question is from Sean Line. What would be the first thing you did if you replaced Rel as the lead game designer? The first thing I would do is bring back fucking timers for force multipliers and revert the stupid fucking... It's actually a bunch of things. So guess what? Nanite gain is going away. In fact, we might just go back to the infantry, air, and ground vehicle fucking resource type stuff. Yeah, that's going away. Maxes are not going to be revivable anymore. You're going to have a timer. And your timer starts, and by the way, you can't cert into this fucking timer. Fuck you. As soon as your force multiplier dies, that's when the timer starts. And it'll be a minimum of 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah. And if you try to pull a force multiplier in a hex that you have gross overpop in, it's going to be grayed the fuck out. And say, no, you don't need a force multiplier. You have 7 to 1 odds. You don't need a force multiplier. Fuck you. Okay, so that's my answer to that. Next question is from Dan. Just Dan. First off, Happy New Year. Hope you are well. If you don't mind, I have a few questions. Why do you think the hatred of good players is so common? As someone who spent at least some time around players of basically all skill levels throughout my time in PS2, I can say for sure that there are still people who genuinely personally hate T or BLNG players on Cobalt. It's not something I haven't seen before in other games, but it seems much stronger here, in particular in the past. Okay, so to answer that question, it's basically been the entire fucking... I have to get a drink because I'm talking a lot. And as I said, I had the bout with Omicron or whatever. Yeah, it's something that's ingrained in the greater shitter population. And it's drilled into their heads from the beginning. And another reason, it's always the us versus them mentality. And it's kind of always been like that. And it's just lived on in perpetuity because of, you have content creators like Sirius that has a big following that constantly spreads this toxic fucking shit about good players and how they play the game. It's done a lot of damage. And then you have Rel, who goes into SKL platoons in their voice chat and basically does it's us against them. Like you have, like when you sit, I had a real problem with that because when you're the lead game designer and you go into a community of people and you're basically like, well, here's how I break it down. We have the actual really good players and then we have the tactical players. First of all, that's wrong because if you actually understand the definition of being tactical or whatever, which all these roleplay milsim fucking retards that think they're actually like, because they are not like the quote unquote good players, that they are somehow better at anything that these other good players do. First of all, that's false. You're literally worse at everything else in the game. Anything that you can do, anything that you think that you're doing better, like you're more tactical or whatever, it's bullshit because the good players that you guys all hate are actually playing the game better tactically as well. But you don't understand what that word means, and you just use like these shitty LARPy milsim roleplay buzzwords to make yourself feel better about how bad you are at shooting people in a video game. But all those people that you hate are actually better at what you say you're better at anyway. So yeah, I had kind of an issue with Rel making that distinction, like you were either one or the other. Well, the better mechanically skilled, sweaty, heavy players are also tactically better players by definition. So yeah, fuck off with that shit. Yeah, like I said, it's just ingrained in these people from the start, because I don't know why they're. I guess, yeah, I don't fucking know. It's existed since the beginning of the game. It's because I really think it's because there's so many casual players and not very good players that come to this game, and they just spout all this bullshit about how FPS skill doesn't matter and it's not that kind of game. And then these players simply existing proves them fucking wrong and destroys their entire worldview. So there's this like inner angst against that. So yeah. Secondly, this goes back to his question. Secondly, I remember you mentioned that you were in the U.S. Armed Forces. As a European, U.S. military spending seems insane to me. What's your take on this as a former serviceman? So yeah, that's true. I was in the Army for 6 years active, 2 reserve. And I've been thinking about this question for a while because I saw this. And honestly, I was an enlisted soldier. I wasn't an officer or anything, and I came in as the lowest rank you can be. I was an E1, and I got out as a E5 promotable. So on a unit level, like at a company level, unless you're the company XO or the company commander, like there's very little that you deal with on the day-to-day that has to do with financials. So as a normal everyday fucking active duty soldier, like you're almost never in a situation where you're thinking about unit budget. Like that's not something as an enlisted person that you're ever thinking about. Now, I was fortunate is a strong word, but I was in charge of a company arms room in 2016 in Korea. And even then, like I was responsible for the maintenance, the upkeep, the issuing, the distributing of every weapon owned by the company. And even then, like the only time that you were involved with financials is when you had when someone lost something or something got damaged in their possession and they got what was called a statement of charges. So basically, like we had a pair of night vision fucking shits that got crushed or something, and it got determined through an investigation that the person was negligent with them, and so they got charged for the cost of them. And it was like some egregious fucking price, and it came out of their paycheck, you know. So those were really the only times. Like, other than that, like it was also in that same position, because the XO of the company, who was a first lieutenant, was basically my direct supervisor in that position, and I was closer to operations than I had ever been in my career there. And even then, like, you didn't budget and everything. The only time you talked about budget was like sort of maybe around fiscal year end, where you had a surplus and you needed to spend whatever on whatever bullshit around the company. Like, to make sure you got the same funding for next year. It's like any government type fucking budgeted stuff, but it's interesting to me too, because you look at, and I know what you're talking about with the U.S. Military budget. Most of the stuff that we had, like the equipment that we had a lot of old ass fucking equipment, like training equipment and stuff was like usually super fucking old. A lot of the vehicles that we had on our MTO, like, were pieces of shit that get constantly down for fucking maintenance. And like, I had a friend who I came in with who was actually up at the DMZ in South Korea, and they were supposed to have they were a very, very small unit. I think they had like 4 trucks, and like I was talking to him one time, and he's like, "Yeah, we have 1 truck that works." It's like it seems so polar opposite when you look at all the shit, all the money that the DoD gets, and then you look at the on the ground like situation at a unit on a company level, and it's like it's very different. You know, so it's hard, and you don't ever really think about it. It's not really something that's on your mind. But, you know, politically and personally, like, yeah, I don't want the United States to be the police of the world. I really don't. I think there's way too much money that goes into that, but a lot of it is greed and corruption, and these contractors that get these fucking no bid fucking amount. Like, it's sick. Like, the military industrial complex, ever since fucking, if you ever watch when Eisenhower was leaving office, and he had a big thing, he basically warned the country about the military industrial complex. And this is the end of the 50s, the early 60s. I think ever since that, and John Kennedy getting killed, like that was kind of the end of, maybe even before that, maybe towards the end of World War II, but it's just been, it's been absolutely fucking insane ever since then. And with the way things are geopolitically, that's not something, because even if you look at, it would be one thing if it was just permanent, like budget increases for the Pentagon and stuff, if it was just like the Republican Party. But you also get it with the Democratic Party too in this country. So each party, like, they bicker back and forth on other things, but what is always universal is, oh well, they're getting more money. Now, we had some during the time when I was in the Obama years. You saw some, like, we were downsizing the force, which, to be honest, the force was a little fucking bloated, because, you had people left over from, or you had all this shit with the surge in Iraq and Afghanistan and all this shit. And to be frank, cutting down and allowing us to trim some of the fat, like, granted, they got rid of some good soldiers, for stupid fucking reasons, but we got rid of a lot of fucking shitbag soldiers too, and people that were not going to be able to advance in their careers, and we got rid of a lot of those people too. So you take the good with the bad. But yeah, as a former serviceman, it like I said at the beginning, it's not something that you see or notice really on a company level or in the day-to-day, unless you are in a position to be handling, like, budgetary stuff within the company or the battalion or the brigade. But yeah, that's pretty much that. The next question is from Kaoru. I'm probably saying that fucking wrong. Hi Lex, Happy New Year. Hope you're well. Thank you very much. I hope you are as well. What do you think would be a good solution to the constant vehicle and max spam in PlanetSide 2? I know that the freedom to pick anything at almost any time is considered to be a staple of the game, a rather poor one in my opinion. That's true. However, the amount of times a semi-decent infantry fight is completely wrecked by air, tank, and max units is off the charts. Not only that, I've heard people in voice chat buying nanite boosters so that they can constantly be in a vehicle. This is something I spoke on just a brief while ago. Maining a force multiplier is one of the most cancer things in this game, and the freedom to pick absolutely almost anything at any given time might be attractive to some, but it's a double-edged sword. And when the selling point of your free game, the most enticing point of your game is also a negative, I don't think that's a good thing. My previous, the question, I don't remember who asked it, but I rattled off a bunch of shit that I would do immediately with the vehicle and max spam. Yeah, but what you said is true. And the fact that you can buy, like, one of the most egregious decisions ever made is allowing people to have nanite boosters. Like, it just, at no point ever, this game has been free to play since launch, right? And for the most part, they've done a good job with the free to play model. But the nanites being boostable by real life money and shit like that is at the point where you need to be like, fucking stop that. Don't do that. But yeah. P.S. Nanowave, grenade, bandolier, shotguns, and light assaults are cancer. I think light assaults could be fine. I just think they need to be reverted back to what they were before Rel changed them. Shotguns are obviously cancer. You have a brainless one-hit kill weapon in a game with longer time to kill. And any positional requirement that a shotgun has is completely negated by the ability to press spacebar on a certain class. Grenade Bandolier. Obviously, Grenade Bandolier is fucking stupid for a game that has no population limits. Nanowave, I've spent 4 years on Nanowave, so. Skullrack is the next question. He says, why do you refer to carbines as carbine? And I think Ian McCullum from Forgotten Weapons did get a good video on this, so I'm going to insert that here. Boom.
So what we have here to take a look at today is my Troy Gal 5 replica of a US Air Force carbine. Carbine? What are you talking about? What do beans have to do with this? You know, it's a carbine, like a short rifle, just like that Martini carbine you're holding. Good heavens, man, this is a carbine. Typical Yanks don't even speak English. You know, I'm pretty sure that we fought a war of independence against you so that we could pronounce it however we like. Colonials. So which of these is the correct pronunciation? This is apparently much more of a debate than I would have anticipated online, and I see this question coming up often enough that I figured we should do this quick video to explore why. Well, of course, the people on one side, people who say carbine, are quick to point out that a great many other words in English that end in ine are pronounced "ine." For example, feline or grapevine or combine or a whole slew of others that you can come up with. Then on the other side, the carbine folks are quick to point out that there are, for every one of those words, there's another one that ends in ine that's pronounced "ine," like ravine or machine. So what one's correct? Well, if we look at the etymology of the word, it actually comes from French, and the word is carabine, like this, gras, carabine. So one might argue that carbine is the correct pronunciation. However, the truth is, both pronunciations are correct. Carbine is predominant in the UK. Carbine and carbine are both used with equal correctness here in the US. So hopefully we can put that to rest. And this is the video that I will be pointing people to in the future when they question the pronunciation of carbine. Thanks for watching.
So yeah, that's my answer to that. I'll say it however the fuck I want to. So there you go. But basically, I'm going off the way that I've always heard it said. I actually feel fucking retarded saying carbine. I don't know. It just feels weird to me. So I just say carbine. But you're welcome to say it however you want to. Let's see here. We've got next question is from Pink Kiwi. If PlanetSide were to shut down randomly and not come back online, where do you think the average infantry main would go for a similar farming experience? Basically, you don't even need PlanetSide to shut down to go farm in any other game. Like, any other, like, pub lobby shooter, you should be able to go in and farm if you're actually good. You can go play Battlefield games, you can go farm in Call of Duty games, you can go basically any game that has, like, a fast respawn that you can run in and use a gun, like, you should be fine in, honestly. And the next question is from Kisvin. Are you going to start making that get better at FPS content you sort of alluded to in your channel update video? Probably not. And probably not because I don't really see the point of doing that for this game. Like, if somebody wants to come to me individually, like in private, and ask for help with stuff like that, I've never been someone that will turn that down. But as for doing like tutorials on shit like that, like maybe if I was gonna do that, I would do that fucking 5 years ago. But at this point, like, I just don't really see the point. And I'm just not that invested in. If I was maybe playing the game, like, as my mainstay game, I would think about doing that. And I don't know how it would be received. But if I did that, I would definitely have to be playing the game a whole lot more. Because I would have to really be interested in the fire stoked within me to be motivated to do that type of content. So probably not. All right, some of you guys are throwing questions still on the answers part of the QA. I unlisted the original prompt for the QA because if I left it going, you have people trickling in like day after day, dropping questions, and I've tried to answer some of those questions in the comments below on the previous video, but I'm not gonna add those on like to the middle of these questions. So if I ever do a QA in the future, which might turn into a thing, maybe like quarterly or something, and maybe every month, I don't know. The prompt video is only going to be up for a couple days, and then I'm going to do the answers to that. Because if I just leave it sit there and people are like the days after and asking questions on the answers video to the QA fucking thing, like it's just going to go on forever, and I just can't. I have to have a cutoff. So other than that, yeah, thanks guys again for all your questions. There was another question here that I've kind of skipped over, and that's from someone who is not retarded, which I'm pretty sure that you are actually retarded. But your question is, do you understand that you are no longer relevant? Well, thank you for asking me that, actually, because I'm pretty sure I know exactly who this person is, and I've got a special video just for you that will be coming up. Look for it sometime in January, and then we'll talk a little bit about relevancy and what I know you think about the game. And basically, yeah, I'm just gonna shit on you the whole video, so that should be very fun. But other than that, I appreciate you guys asking all the questions. I had a lot better turnout than I ever would have imagined, and yeah, we should definitely do this again sometime. So, yeah, whenever. Take care, guys. Be safe. Peace.